Linke launches complaint portal against Vonovia over alleged systemic rent abuse and corruption. The escalating dispute exposes systemic vulnerabilities within Germany's largest residential property management company, demanding immediate strategic intervention. The German Linke Party is intensifying its campaign against what it perceives as a manufactured rental crisis, initiating the launch of a dedicated online portal designed to facilitate tenant reporting of deficiencies and violations within the Vonovia corporation.
This proactive measure directly confronts allegations of systematic abuse stemming from claims of inflated rent increases and inaccurate cost accounting practices. Jan van Eycken, the party's leadership, has articulated a damning assessment of Vonovia's operational model, characterizing it as driven by deliberate manipulation intended to maximize profits at the expense of tenant welfare.
His assertion that Vonovia's actions resemble almost mafia-like structures underscores the severity of the accusations and the potential for significant legal and reputational ramifications. The party's long-term objectives extend beyond mere complaint resolution, encompassing a radical repositioning of Vonovia through nationalization and socialization predicated on a revised valuation reflecting genuine construction and maintenance costs, a strategy designed to leverage rent revenue for direct tenant restitution.
This aggressive stance reflects a deeply rooted distrust of market-driven valuations within the residential sector and seeks to fundamentally reshape the relationship between landlords and tenants.
Strategic leverage through tenant engagement. A targeted, multi-pronged approach utilizing the complaint portal and localized community action will maximize the party's influence and pressure on Vonovia. The core strategic advantage resides in the mobilization of aggrieved tenants through the newly established portal, creating a demonstrable and quantifiable record of systemic abuse.
This data serves not only as evidence for regulatory intervention, but also as a powerful tool for public relations, effectively framing Vonovia as a predatory entity exploiting vulnerable renters. The party's intention to directly engage with residents in problem areas, exemplified by the Leipzig precedent, represents a critical escalation, demonstrating a commitment to tangible outcomes and fostering a sense of solidarity amongst affected tenants.
Furthermore, the consistent leveraging of political pressure, specifically targeting state parliament members and advocating for a nationwide rent cap, introduces a crucial element of legislative influence. The party's calculated opposition to the €36 billion valuation, coupled with the projected financial outcome of a realistic cost-based calculation, presents a compelling economic argument that can undermine Vonovia's core business model.
Crucially, the continued advocacy for a rent cap, alongside the activation of activist tactics, aims to generate sustained pressure on both the SPD and CDU, exploiting their inherent vulnerabilities and ultimately forcing a shift in policy.
Unpacking the political and economic dynamics, the conflict reveals a fundamental tension between market forces and tenant protection, demanding a re-evaluation of Germany's housing landscape. The Linke Party's strategy is predicated on a sophisticated understanding of Germany's political and economic landscape, recognizing the SPD's historical commitment to social welfare and the CDU's traditional conservative stance on property rights.
The sustained criticism of Vonovia's valuation, informed by detailed cost analysis, directly challenges the prevailing market narrative and exposes the potential for manipulation. The Leipzig case, successfully leveraged to parliamentary pressure, serves as a potent demonstration of the party's ability to effect tangible change, highlighting the effectiveness of targeted advocacy.
Moreover, the party's ambition to seize control of approximately 138,000 Vonovia apartments in Berlin, predicated on the assumption of a favorable electoral outcome, represents a bold, strategically driven expansion of its influence. The underlying dynamic is a power struggle between a dominant corporate entity and a determined political force, utilizing legal, economic, and political mechanisms to achieve a desired outcome, fundamentally altering the control and governance of residential property within Germany.
Projected outcomes and strategic next steps. Achieving a sustainable resolution necessitates a recalibration of both Vonovia's business practices and the broader regulatory framework governing the German housing market. The predicted consequences of the Linke Party's sustained campaign are significant, potentially triggering a nationwide shift in regulatory policy towards stronger tenant protections.
The successful deployment of the complaint portal and the continued leveraging of political pressure are likely to force Vonovia to concede ground, ultimately leading to revised rental agreements and increased transparency. However, the party's ambition to nationalise Vonovia's assets, contingent on a favourable election outcome, represents a substantial long-term objective that will require sustained effort and strategic manoeuvring.
Future risks include potential legal challenges from Vonovia exacerbated by the party's aggressive tactics and the inherent complexities of a large-scale nationalisation effort. Opportunities lie in capitalising on public sentiment, fostering alliances with tenant advocacy groups and leveraging technological innovation to further streamline the complaint reporting process.
The strategic next steps involve consolidating support within Berlin, securing parliamentary backing for a nationwide rent cap, and meticulously monitoring the evolving political landscape to anticipate and proactively address potential obstacles, ensuring the continued momentum of this critical campaign.